To have Jake's support, it just means everything. I've never been this close to anyone, because he's not just my boyfriend, he's like my best friend as well, and I've never really had that, and I can tell him everything. So it just means so much to have someone to be able to talk to about everything without worrying about him judging me or just not being able to cope with the illness. I do kind of worry that it's going to get too much and it's going to kind of affect us and he won't be able to handle it, but he's proved me wrong on that, so
well, I learned to do your port and everything, didn't I? So.
Yeah, that's when I knew how serious it was, that he was willing to kind of do all that for me.
Yeah.
So
at least while I'm in denial, I can pretend that everything's normal, and I can go out and do what people my age are doing, but with the enemies. If I can't move, I can't live a normal life, and how can I ask an 18-year-old boy to put up with that lifestyle? How can I ask him just to sit there and watch me cry in pain and have the life that no one deserves, and just sit and watching me suffer and not having his own life? I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy, let alone the guy I love. So hard all the time, so hard.
People should be made aware of it to know what the risks are, what the symptoms are, and everything about it. So that's what we're trying to raise money for to do, and the websites help and everything like that. But because no one knows of it, there's no government support, is there, or anything like that. So we have to raise the money ourselves, or other people have to help. And it has to come from other people to raise money for research and everything like that.
it's we're the only charity in the UK for pseudo obstruction. So it's kind of scary. It's kind of a big thing to be the first charity and make people aware of it. And it's a scary prospect, because nobody really in the UK, you'd think that someone would kind of know about it, but everyone you ask, all the medical websites or medical magazines, they don't do features on it because they've never heard of it. And I'm thinking, well, if you did features of it about the condition, then you would be aware of it and it wouldn't be a problem. But it's just making people aware is the major factor. Raising money obviously is going to help for research and stuff, but I'd rather make people aware of it than to raise money at the moment, because obviously there's no one doing research because no one's aware. So we need to kind of promote awareness to make people do research. It's just one big circle because there's not enough people who know about it, so no one's carrying out research.
In the UK, the Digestive Disorders Foundation funds and promotes research into a wide range of gastrointestinal disorders. CORE is the working name of the Digestive Disorders Foundation. Professor Alistair Forbes of the University Hospital London is the medical director of CORE.
CORE is a very global gastrointestinal research charity and supports work right across the range from all sorts of intestinal disorders, including liver disease, pancreatic disease, and most particularly the whole range of intestinal disorders, and certainly including the pseudo obstruction syndromes. CORE has two main functions. One is as a fundraiser and a supporter of research. And so in any given year, CORE is responsible for several £100,000 worth of research grants, supporting projects, supporting research fellows, so the people actually doing the research and the resources they need to do that research. In addition to that, CORE also has an important public educational role and is responsible for a whole series of disease information leaflets, a very carefully worked out website which is on www.digestivedisorders.org.uk, which has a lot of information on a whole range of different intestinal, stomach, liver, pancreatic disorders. So it's a two-armed attack, supporting research and educating and informing the public.
I think the most difficult part isn't the fact that most of the time I'm stuck in bed or not being able to get about because of the arthritis, or walking down the street and being sick and seeing people stare at me and not help me. That is not the hardest part. The hardest part is knowing that nobody can tell me what's going to happen. And it's not, obviously I'm scared about that, but it's the fact that I can't explain to my family, or I can't tell them how long I've got. I can't make plans, and I want to be able to explain to everyone, to make people more aware. I want to tell them that this can happen or that can happen, or you can live to be 100 but your life won't be as healthy as everyone else's. But I can't, and that's the hardest thing. And being told things that really hurt, like when you're in a consultation, and obviously because I'm still paediatrics, most people don't talk about it, but starting a family and stuff and knowing that it's probably not going to happen, that's the biggest thing for me at the moment, because I've always wanted kids ever since I can remember. Is just to have a family. It's my biggest dream, and knowing that it's unlikely to happen naturally, then that's just, and my education as well, that's a big factor. I just want to be successful, and I want to have a job like everyone else, and I want to be seen as normal. But what is normal? Is there such a thing?
It's really quite distressing for us as parents to see what's happened. And that Rosie had very high ambitions when she was younger, and as her illness has progressed, she's had to downsize those ambitions or things she wanted to do. As the illness progressed, she's realised that there's just some things she's not going to be able to do in terms of a career. And clearly, if you are if you are a person who's got an illness, which means that you can't socialise with other people, you can't go out very much, it's going to make it very, very difficult to hold down a regular type job. You know, it would be very, very difficult for Rosie to actually do a 9-to-5 type job. I think that she'd sort of have to look at something that she could possibly do from home, so that when she's ill, she can take time out as she needs it. I couldn't really see many employers actually putting up with the sort of illness that Rosie has to live with in an employee.
It's difficult.
I think, especially if you take on someone with a health problem and they are going to be in hospital for a month at a time, every few months, or they're going to have to take 2 days out every fortnight to go off to hospital appointments, then you're going to think twice, I think, before taking someone. But it's hard to see how her life would have been if she hadn't had this illness, because to all intents and purposes she's had this illness for all her life.
And to us it's normal routine. It's become a routine. Yeah. It's our way of living. We first had it with William being ill and going in and out of hospital, and then Rosie's taken over, and that's just how life has been. The hospitals, it's our normality, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. It's people often say, how do you cope with it? How do you deal with it? So
you haven't seen it any other way.
Rosie's nearly 18 now, so for the past 12 years, as far as Rosie's concerned, this has been normal life for us, and you do get used to it. It's not easy, but you get used to it.
I really don't know what's going to happen in the future, but all I can do is live on dreams, really. I can't say what's going to happen. If the doctors can't say, then I can't say. But what I want to happen is I want to live to be 100, 110. I want to have a good life. I want to do crazy things like jump out of the aeroplanes and windsurfing and skiing and just be totally mad and live each day as it comes. And I want to settle down. I want to have a family. But the thing at the moment is I want to do it all quickly just in case. And some people can't see why. Sometimes I can't even see why I want to do it all so quickly. But other times I look at people that I know, I look at people that I've met who haven't made it, and I think things change so quickly. Anything can happen. In the next year I could be dead. In the next year I could be high as a kite, living life to the full. We just don't know. So the real thing is I want to do everything while I can.
What I would say is that we are actively looking at new ways forward. We're looking at ways of finding better treatments, ideally to try and prevent the problems in the first place. I think the research that's being done is interesting, is leading in important directions, and I think over the next few years we will be able to make important steps forward. I think we need to work together on that, and I think it's important that patients are helped to find doctors that are interested in their condition, and that's not possible in every small unit, not least because the conditions are quite rare. But there are a sufficient number of centres around the UK and again internationally that are taking an interest. I think we can feel positive that things are moving in the right direction, but at the same time we have to recognise there's quite a long way to go still.
If they see something, the words, go and look it up, read about it, find out more.
Don't assume that you already know everything. Keep an open mind.
Pseudo is one of the most complicated illnesses that I have ever come across, and I'm not just saying that because I suffer from it. There's just no understanding. There's not enough research, there's just not enough knowledge at all, and it is life-threatening. I could live to be 100, but then I could die tomorrow. But at the same time, I don't look at it as being cursed with this illness. I could walk out in front of a bus tomorrow. It's the same for everyone. Life is one big risk, and it's just unfortunate that I've got to deal with this. But think of all the experiences I've had. And yeah, I may die next year, I may die the year after, but at least people can look back on my life and say, wow, she's done this, she carried on, she fought it as best she could, and while she did it, she was trying to help other people. That's all I want. I want to know that I've made Jake happy, I want to know that I've made my parents proud. But then, doesn't everyone want to make people happy? Doesn't everyone want to make people proud?
As of yet, there is no definitive treatment for gastro-intestinal pseudo obstruction. As Rosie looks ahead to an uncertain future, she remains determined to make the most of every day.